Got it. So before we start, we've been gone for a little bit, and that's okay.
I'm sure everyone has missed
Add
us.
a new rule.
I'm
And
sure the 13 people that fall asleep while listening to us have missed us.
yeah, I assume they've just been rewatching, not rewatching. They don't even fall asleep. That's important to say. It's not. They're not. They don't fall asleep. They are already
We're
asleep,
already asleep.
and it's auto playing
Yeah,
into the next thing.
and we've been infiltrating and we've been invading their dreams. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but not in ways that we understand. More,
No.
more in ways like, oh man, interesting ideas are in my dreams. More in ways where they're like, huh, that one guy, real nasally, huh? And that was it. That's all they got. That's all they got. That's
That's right. They're
okay.
having some dream about like a talking badger that has a nasally voice.
Yeah. And it's one badger, and it's just it doesn't make sense what he's saying because it's both of us talking to each other.
Exactly.
They haven't figured out it's a conversation yet.
No.
I would like to add a new rule. It's a simple rule, and it's a very silly rule. It's
Okay.
very silly, and we might negate it with a rule later down the line.
All right.
I would like to end every podcast the same way Ryan Seacrest ends his broadcasts,
Okay.
and that's by saying Seacrest out.
I like it.
And it's not Yonko out. It's Seacrest. No, you know what? We'll end it with Yonko out. That's how.
Yanko out. I like that. Yanko out. Yeah. Should we uh-oh. Frozen.
So is this a new recording or are we still recording?
I'm still recording. I'll cut that out.
Okay, cool.
I was just about to say, should we
Yeah, new rule, Yonko out. That's how we end it. And yeah, let's do this. Hi Andrew.
hi Brandon?
Start that timer.
Oh yeah.
Man,
Um
next time I have an opportunity for a rule, I'm gonna say you can't say booyah. That's gonna be a big that's a big rule. That's a big rule for me. Oh, he disappeared again.
whoops,
There it
sorry,
is.
man.
So
We're having all man, it's been so long we can't even figure out like what's
it's
going on
it's
here.
good.
Yeah.
This could be about technical problems.
Yeah.
Um and
Technical problems
about
with we've already made it as simple as we possibly could and still having technical problems here.
true. I mean, Brian, I think it's the Brian Eno quote, which is everything that is ugly and weird about now will be the stuff we make nostalgic later on.
I like that. Yeah.
It's good. I mean, he's good. He's done some good stuff. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
heard him.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was a joke.
Mhm.
That was me taking
Being
what.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know it's because of your love of football. But also I think he's more interesting now. But I wonder what will be our uglies that we are interested in. Like,
Yeah.
I know. Have you ever checked out Flume, the artist Flume?
I have, but I don't remember what much about it.
It's interest. It's dancey dance music. I'm an old man,
Mhm.
but what's interesting is like like how like if you slow down analog,
Mhm.
it slows down and goes deeper. But if you slow down digital, it sort of breaks apart.
Okay.
Um, he's playing with that break apart digital sound quite a bit, and
Okay.
it's interesting to see someone like it's fascinating how much we don't hear
Mhm.
because we go, oh, that's wrong, do not hear that.
Yeah.
And that is something that then that's always a place where people can play. One of the things that I have been interested in the discussion of art, and I think it covers in all art. I've
Mhm.
been I've been thinking about intention and the what and the how.
Okay.
And intention, I think you can boil down everything in art to that single word.
Mhm.
It is intention. Even if
Yeah.
even if your intention is to be unintentional,
Mhm.
that's still it, but it is. Or you can't remove the frame from art no matter how hard you try.
Right. Right. Okay.
And you can go, I have framed this and it
Mhm.
is framed. Or you can go, it is on wall, or you can go, it is wall, or you can go, it is molecule, or is brick, or is water, or is whatever, but you're still saying this piece of time and space
Yeah.
is what I say it is. Watch me now try to use my skills with my brain and my body. Um,
Yeah, I like that because no matter what it is, it's gonna be there's gonna be something there, like um to identify, the art, whether it's like on a wall, in a frame, or in an open space, or even architecture, there's still something that surrounds it that differentiates what you're looking at.
yeah, there's something and like with music, even if you were to
Hmm.
do, the we'll do the famous example, which is the Cage silent piece, which isn't actually silent.
Hmm.
433, 431. Am I close?
433. Yeah.
Thank you. Even that's just frame. That's just going, this little area is where the art is. It goes from here to here, and this area is mine, and it is my art.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
so I think I've been trying to, so for mascot work, I'm taking a mime class, right?
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And in the mime class, and I'm not trying to, give away mime secrets. I'm keeping all my mime secrets to myself. I'm keeping those mime secrets. I'm keeping them hush. Um,
So dumb.
yeah, welcome back. But one of the things that is interesting is in all my different explorations of art, one of the things that mime really is, and it's not just working silently, it's taking the idea of intention and taking it down to the singularity of movement.
Mhm.
And it's a little different than dance, because dance is the singularity of movements,
Mhm.
and mime seems to be mostly the intention of movement. What does a single movement mean?
Mhm.
What does the next single movement mean?
Mhm. Okay.
And I think that it is interesting. And when you view art through intention, and there's tension, because all art is intention, except for that all viewing is interpretation.
Mhm.
And the question becomes, what is more important in art? Is it the intention or the interpretation of the intention? And
Mhm.
that is diaries are great. I'm not anti-diary. But at some point, for art to work, you need another person to look at it and go, it's art is where art is poetry, and poetry is where your heart crosses another person's heart. Um in and we are all little bubbles of emotions and feelings, and sometimes we have similar or the same emotion and feelings, and trying to figure out what that is, and separate that into its own little canvas seems to be the purpose of art. That seems to be the purpose. Welcome
Mhm.
back.
Getting deep like right away. I like it.
One mime class. I won't shut the fuck up.
I when I was a kid, I actually saw Marcel Marceau, the famous French mime.
Yeah.
Um, and like I was young enough that I because I was like 8 or 10 or something like that. So I hadn't heard all the mime jokes yet, and everything. So I really loved it, of course, at that age and everything. But even now, like, you know, it's easy to make fun of mimes, but I think when you really think about the art itself, I mean, like, it's just like anything else. There's a lot of artistry. I like hearing that sort of like behind the scenes, like what are you thinking about, like when you're doing these movements? There's an artistry and a technicality to it.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I would like to say, I think mime and magic,
Hmm.
two art forms that are cool for everyone until someone tells you that it's not cool, and you can never
Yeah,
fully get that off.
that's
I don't,
true. Yeah.
and they might have the same problem, because magic, stage magic, not the magic of a child's smile. Um, Magic has this "I know more than you"
Hmm.
shtick to it, and
Yeah.
I think mime is, especially the type of mime where the guy who I'm training under worked with Marcel Marceau, which is great, but that's the thing you always want. You want them to say, this is how close I am to the famous person that everyone.
Yeah.
That's what you want from a teacher. Uh, but immediately I was like, can we talk after I was like, can we talk about something? There is no wall that is this high. This wall does not look around reality and
Uh-huh.
look and see what wall is this. Where is
Yeah.
it? What now we didn't do that, and I'll do that and I'll do the job. But I think and it's so the the problem with mime magic is the problem with magic is it's a guy kind of usually smarmily and usually a guy going, I know more than you.
Right.
You think it's actually this, you dumb dumb. Um, and that's magic at its usual. We can
Yeah.
elevate, we can we can figure it out. But if you're
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to a dude, at some point he's going, "Aren't you an idiot?" And we don't like that.
Yeah.
Aren't you an idiot about something you can't care about either? Um,
Well, yeah, but I think like a lot of art forms, like it has evolved though. I mean, like I know you've showed me some magicians that like really almost take the opposite approach. Like that one guy who was just like, oh my God, this is amazing to me, and I can't
yeah,
believe how magical this is. Like, and that kind of infectious energy like is really, and it's almost the entirely opposite approach to what you're talking about. And then like it is kind of cool, although sometimes cheesy. It is kind of cool to see like the magician sort of stringing together like the storylines and like doing things like that.
absolutely,
I mean, and again, like sure, there's some cheese involved, but I mean, there's cheese in music, there's cheese in everything, and
absolutely.
I think that cheese can actually be really nice.
I totally agree, and I want to be clear. I love magic.
Yeah,
I have a thing for me in magic where unless you are asking me to, I have no interest in figuring out your magic trick.
uh-huh,
I have no, there is nothing in my body compels me to understand your magic trick in any way, shape, or form. Whatever it is, yeah, I'm here. I'm for it.
yeah,
Yeah, I am. I will mark out. I will play the game, even if the trick doesn't quite work. I will be fine with it and I'll
yeah,
go along with the intention of the trick. I
mhm,
I love magic, but I understand the repellent part of
yeah,
it. And
yeah,
that's cruel, but like I understand and there's something, we work through life where we are trying to convince ourselves that we're not going to get tricked. We're not going to get tricked. We're not going to
yeah,
get tricked. We're the smart one in the room. We're the smart one in the room.
mhm,
And then a dude walks in and he's like, I'm actually a lot smarter than all of y'all, you dum
right,
dums. And I understand why you would push back on that.
sure, yeah,
Um, I get why that would happen, and I understand with like mime, there is a certain level of you have to agree that all the imaginary stuff I'm doing, and there's part of your brain that you have to go, I know what reality is. I know
yeah,
exactly what it is, and you are telling me it's not that, and I know you're pretending, and you cannot trick me. And
yeah,
like and that's an interesting response. Like that's a compelling thing that
yeah,
mime and magic do that they have a repellent aspect of it. And I
yeah,
think all the best stuff, you either embrace that repellent or you put a scent that is stronger than it over top of it that replaces it. But I think a lot of people, they just kind of ignore the ugly part. They don't Brian Eno it. Because and when you don't do that, those sounds aren't appealing, and you haven't
mhm,
reframed the ugly part. Because you kind of have to think like, when art comes down to intention versus interpretation, you can't. If you drop a hair on a perfectly white painting accidentally, that's always going to be about that hair from here on out. If you can't get it
yeah,
out, you can't just go, "Oh, don't look at that." Once you put the frame around it, you're saying, "Look at all of this as much or as little as you want,"
right,
and that is um, a hard thing to like. That's hard. That's physically hard for a human to do because one of the things I think as an artist, you have this tension in your body of,
mhm.
please look at me, please do not look at me. How we doing on time?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. I could tell you were. You're trying to work to ending there, but it's not going to work for 2 minutes. So
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. I accidentally got the Brian Eno thing in. I
yeah.
was like, oh yeah, that's what I've been trying to say. But also, it's okay for 2 minutes. I mean, we can just sit in silence. But yeah, football, wild.
Um, football. Yeah, I haven't. I'm not a football guy, but because I have a lot of friends who are into football, man, I know what's going on, and the tension is there, man.
Yeah,
Also lots of conspiracy theories.
lots of
So
conspiracy theories. Let me tell you, this year I put a lot of time and energy into watching baseball, and I am a one
really?
sport
Oh
man.
yeah, yeah. Because you're
Yeah, because it's my job. I had to
uh-huh.
learn to love it. Like you can learn to love whatever sport you want if they go, hey, you have to go watch it. Like I've watched hundreds of games of baseball at this point, almost completely by accident. Like
Yeah,
completely, I did not mean to watch so much baseball, but like I like, and I think it's exposed. I'm not a sports guy, but it's exposure therapy, right?
yeah,
It's if I show you enough baseball, you're gonna understand baseball, even if it's kind of by accident.
hmm
Like people, I think, and you have to give space for people. They probably know more about stuff than they think they know,
hmm
just because they've been exposed to it over and over. I bet more
sure.
people could tell you about how to make a good commercial than they know.
Mm, yeah,
Like we are exposed to a commercial and what we want to see and what we don't want to see and
yeah,
what works nowadays is probably so much clearer. And it's the taste race of like we figure out what a commercial is and now it's boring. Like
yeah,
those Geico commercials were the most exciting thing
yeah,
around for almost 2 years.
yeah, or
And then
maybe
we
even
all
longer. You know,
yeah,
and well, and like there's still like elements of them, that, but people like, but you're right, like people imitate them, and then and then it becomes like sort of boring, and I've seen this too many times. So that is interesting, like, and how that happens with all art forms, I think.
yeah,
But and then I think you're right. Like most people could also say like what makes a good song or a good piece of art, even though they don't necessarily do it.
yeah. I think that's but then you have to figure now you know what it is, and that's hard.
Yeah,
And you have to separate all of the other little fibers from your brain,
right.
figure out to boil that down, and then you got to figure out how to do it.
Exactly.
So good luck. Yonko out.
Yanko out.